Yeah, today I want to be talking about some solutions to our security problem facing this our lovely country, Nigeria. Now, I'm fully aware some of our security challenges are being caused by our political leaders. Some of the challenges we are facing today are political problems. But that aside, security is very essential and fundamental in every nation. For every nation to be considered developing, security is one of the fundamentals that need to be prioritized. I want to be talking about two sets of security measures, two sets of security architecture. We have the physical security and the digital and digital, which is cyber security. The physical security, we're talking about the physical security agencies, that is the military, the police, and all the civil defense and all the um, various security agencies that we have in the country. But for us to have a fast response rate and a good security architecture and system, we need to work more and more emphasis on the digital security, because we have good digital security systems out there in the world and architectures that, when well deployed, will increase the efficiency of our security problem faced in this country. Um, I, I study computer engineering in Port, one of the best graduating students, and I want to basically put a very good security architecture that will help us solve the security problem that we're facing in this country. A very good solution that I know, when deployed, will solve a major problem which is our security. Now, in digital security, we are talking about digital devices, making use of digital systems to monitor various areas and strategic points, to send data and store data for future use. In this system, I draw three branches in the digital system, whereby we have the national database system, we have the control center system, and we have the network of advanced surveillance system. One of the major problems we have in this country that we don't have a control center. A control center is very, very essential in every security architecture. That's why in the West, if you see military people going to war, their control center is taking note, monitoring various points, giving out informations to soldiers in the war front or in various points, update, because information is power, and the more information you can gather, the better chances that there will be better security and proactiveness in the process. So we really need a very good structure, physical structure control center, well equipped computer systems, and advanced electronic devices in that control center. And outside our national control centers, which I discussed earlier, the next thing we want to talk about now is our national database. Like, we need to have a national database. A national database is a database that will carry, or that will store fundamental data of every member of this country or every citizen of this country. And that database will have biometric data of everybody in this country. We can do that, it's possible. We can create a system whereby everybody will register their biometric data to our national database. Then another thing we need to put into our database is the IMEI numbers of every devices. The IMEI number is an identity number of every device, whether it's phone or laptop or any device that you use in this world. Every device has a unique IMEI number. So if peradventure I'm using this phone, if for instance I'm using this phone, my phone has an IMEI number. So if you have my credentials and you have the IMEI number of this phone, that means you can keep track of me if I commit a crime. You can track me down with my IMEI number anytime, anywhere. It's very possible. So we need to have all the IMEI numbers of every device in this country used by people. the network service providers can help us to get all the IME numbers of all the devices in this country, and that will be sent and transmitted and be stored in our national database. That IME number will not be stored alone. That IME number will be stored in reference to the person's data, that is the person's name, the person's location, the person's fundamental credentials. That IME number will be stored in respect to or in relative to the person's credentials, so that when then this person commit a crime, you can track down that person with the IME number. So that is another fundamental way and data that we need to store in a national database. Then another thing we need to store in a national database is a location of houses. We need to keep track of all the houses in this country, like the location of every houses in this country and the owner of such houses. For instance, if I build a house, I have to register that house with the government. I have to put all my credentials with the government, so that the government will store all those credentials in the national database. If I rent a house, I have to put that my apartment with the government, put all my credentials with the government. So if anything happens, they will just go to the National Control Center, put your credentials, and they will know wherever place you are living. If someone did something that is bad, you immediately track down the person's name. You just go straight to the national database and you get the person's location. So that is very important data that we need to have in a database. So you get the person's location. So that is for national database. So the third aspect I want to talk about now is the network, the surveillance system network. I think if we have a power grid in this country, that is a power grid in this country in terms of electricity, it will be more efficient also that we have a security network, digital security network. Very, very essential and very, very important. Just like a power grid, like we can have a physical either wired network or even wireless network, anyhow you want the network to be, but we ought to have a digital security network in this country. That network can be break down into three forms. In 3 stages, you can have that network in the state level, we can also have that network in the regional level, and we can also have that network in the national level. I think in this security network, the same way we make money from the power grid, we can also get revenue from this security digital network. Okay, so let me break down the security digital network. So in this security digital network, we'll have like 4 parameters that will be connected to this network. You know, a network is the interconnection of various nodes. That what makes up a network. And this network, the security grid network, will be connected direct to our control center for processing of data and analyzing of data. So these we have 3 nodes in this security network, which we can even increase to have more nodes. People can add more ideas to what I'm saying. The first node we have is the use of drones. At least we can have sophisticated drones, advanced camera drones that can be flying in strategic positions, strategic places, to transmit real-time data or real-time monitoring of information directly to our security network. So that we should be transmitted to our control centers remotely and in real time. Then another aspect that we need to have is cameras. Cameras located at each homes in the country, meaning that our network we encompass the whole country, just like the grid, which is everywhere in the country. Our network will be built in a way that it will encompass the whole country. So if peradventure somebody feel like having a camera in his house, let's say I build a house and I want to have a camera in my house, I don't need to buy that camera. All I just need is just to register with the government. The government will provide all the cameras needed, and the government will fix those cameras in strategic locations of your house, that is outside your house, for security purpose. And those cameras will be connected directly to the national grid, the national security grid, and the person will be paying tax for it monthly. So if a month the person is paying like 1,000 naira a month for security levy, 1,000 naira a month, and we have 5 million persons in this country that are deploying that cameras in their houses for security purpose, that means we'll be creating a revenue of almost 1.5 billion naira a month. I think you understand what I'm saying. So from this node, we can be generating 5 billion naira a month as revenue. In return, we are still getting data, real-time data for our security network, which will be processed in our control center. Then another area we need to, another node we need to have this network is we need to have cameras in our traffic joints. It's been long I even see a traffic light working in this country safe. Like, it's been very long. I think we need to activate our traffic light back. We need to activate them back. And we need to put cameras at strategic points, as traffic joints, and connect those cameras directly, wirelessly, or even wired from to our national grid, national security grid, which all those data should be transmitted directly to our control centers for processing. So we can put solar powered cameras, high sophisticated solar power camera that has big or very high footage with very good resolution, power, capacity, to help us get fundamental data or keep track of what is happening in various places in our country, which everything will be transmitted to our network grid, our national network digital grid, which will be transmitted to our control centers, stored in our database for future use by our physical security agencies. So I think if in summary what I've said is very good, and when deployed, I know it will solve our security problem. So in summary of what I'm saying is that we have a physical security system which is made up of all the physical security agencies. Then our digital system, which I'm fully interested in, is the national database system. We have the control center system, and we have the network of advanced security surveillance system. So which the national database system ought to have a real-time location of all the houses in the country, with the people living in those houses. That means if I build a house, I register the house with the government with my name and credentials. If I rent a house, I register my apartment with the government with my name and my credentials, which will be stored in national database. Then we need to get the biometric of every person in this country. We can make that possible. Then we need to get IMEI number of all the devices in this country, so that in case if someone commits a crime, we can use this IMEI number to track that device, or to track that phone, or track that particular device. Then so the network service providers can help us get the IMEI number of all the devices in the country in relative to the person's credentials from the network service provider. So the IMEI number will be relative to the person's credential, which shows that that's the person using that phone or that particular device at that point. Then we need to have a communication decryption channel, interception channels, whereby various communications from our cellular networks can be intercepted, can be monitored, whereby if certain words are being used, those words will be highly monitored, and to know what is happening or what is about to happen with that particular related issue. Then in respect of our network for surveillance advanced system, We need to have drones in our network. Since our network is made up of interconnection of various nodes, we need to have drones in our network, drones that will be sending data to our network. Drones will be flying in critical and strategic locations in our country, all over our country, and be sending real-time data to our network. The same way we have the power grid in the country, we need to have a digital network grid that will be connected to our control centers, and real-time data from drones will be sent directly to the control centers. And we can also have cameras at people's at points at people's houses, meaning that if someone wants to have a security camera in his house, you don't need to meet the government, and the government will provide the camera in his house and put in the strategic locations, and data will be transmitted from that place to the network, to the national network grid, which will be transmitted to the control centers, and the person will be paying security levy of 1,000 naira a month. So if you have 5,000 people are using those cameras in their houses, 1,000 multiplied by 5,000 will be 5 billion naira revenue made in a month. Then we need to put strategic cameras in our traffic joints, which will help us to capture footages in various places in the country, which all data will be transmitted to our network grid for monitoring and analyzing of security challenges. So all this architecture can be broken down into three stages. We can have the state level, the regional level, and the national level. So I think if well deployed with this my idea, it will be easy for criminals to be tracked down, and it will be hard for people to commit crimes, because they know very well that your identity and your locations and everything will be easily compromised, and can easily be tracked down. Thank you very much.